we will take you on a journey into the world of horror and mystery. If you are a fan of horror stories and mysterious events, you are in the right place. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the bell button to receive the latest videos. Don't forget to press the like button if you liked the video. Get ready for an exciting and terrifying experience.
The darkness was pitch black when they decided to embark on that adventure. The four friends, Emily, Jack, Lucas, and Simon, gathered in Jack's old car, defying the widespread warnings about the remote road known as the Road of Spirits. The rumors spoke of angry spirits appearing at midnight to take revenge on anyone daring to drive through this cursed road. The car set off in the dead of night, with thick fog enveloping the road in a terrifying atmosphere. Silence reigned supreme, broken only by the soft hum of the engine and the occasional words exchanged by the friends. As time passed, Emily began to feel uneasy, as if hidden eyes were watching them. "Did you hear something?" she said in a trembling voice, but everyone laughed at her, saying she was imagining things. As they delved deeper into the road, the sounds increased. Shadows of people appeared and disappeared in a flash on the sides of the road, and sometimes in front of the car, causing Jack to slam on the brakes suddenly more than once. "I can't breathe. Something is pressing on my chest." Simon screamed, and signs of panic began to show on everyone's faces. Suddenly, the ghostly figure of a woman in white appeared before them, her eyes red like flames from hell. Jack tried to avoid her, but the car swerved and crashed into a massive tree. No one in the car anticipated what would happen after the crash. As everyone tried to regain consciousness, the apparition they had seen before the collision appeared beside the car. It approached slowly, its red eyes glowing more intensely. Fear gripped them, and Lucas was so terrified that he couldn't move from his seat. Simon screamed loudly, trying to get out of the car, but the doors seemed tightly shut. He looked at Emily, who was trembling violently, watching the approaching apparition. The ghost began to fade slowly, but the strange sound accompanying its disappearance echoed like the screams of tortured souls. "We need to get out of here, now," Jack said urgently, trying to start the car again, but the engine had completely stalled. As they began to contemplate a way out of the car, they heard whispers growing louder and louder. The ground started trembling beneath them, and suddenly the windows exploded on their own, scattering glass everywhere. They felt cold hands gripping their arms, forcefully pulling them out of the car with a mysterious strength. They suddenly found themselves in a dark place, reminiscent of an old cemetery. Scattered graves and withered plants around them gave the place a terrifying atmosphere. Every move they made, they heard sounds of crying and occasionally eerie laughter echoing through the air. Emily tried to control her fear and said in a shaky voice, "We need to stick together and find a way out." However, it wasn't that easy. With each step they took, the intensity of the frightening sounds and mysterious whispers grew. As they moved slowly and cautiously, they saw in the distance the silhouette of a headless man, carrying his head in his hands and walking towards them. Suddenly, the ground turned into a blood swamp, forcing them to walk through it against their will. It didn't take long before they felt something pulling them downwards, as if the swamp was trying to swallow them up. As they struggled to resist, the woman in white appeared before them again, but this time surrounded by the specters of other people. They began to approach slowly, their hands stained with blood reaching out towards the four friends. Emily gathered her courage once again, trying to control her fear and help her friends. "We must stay together and find a way out of here," she whispered to them, her voice trembling. Jack, Lucas, and Simon were shocked as they contemplated the place they found themselves in. But before they could move or think more clearly, the terrifying sounds intensified around them, cries of spirits filling the air, and dim lights engulfing the surrounding trees, making the situation even more eerie and mysterious. Every step they took increased the brutality of the conditions they faced. Suddenly, their blood-stained hands reached towards the four friends, and they began to viciously try to grab them. The friends recoiled in horror, but there was nowhere to escape. The spirit started closing in on them, forcing them to try to defend themselves in any way possible. In those terrifying moments, the cursed spirits surrounded the four friends from all sides, their hands reaching out with dark, blood-stained shadows spreading to seize them as if they were easy prey in this tragic world. Fear and despair crept into their hearts as they began to realize they might not escape from this dark nightmare. Suddenly, a loud scream pierced through the darkness, a sound resembling the explosion of anguish and suffering echoing throughout the place. The spirits abruptly halted, as if the sound froze them in place. The friends looked around in astonishment, trying to comprehend what was happening. A new specter emerged from the darkness, larger and more terrifying than the previous one. It wore a long black cloak, its face obscured by shadows, but its eyes glowed with a deep red hue. "You do not belong here," the specter uttered in a deep, menacing voice, causing the entire place to tremble with its words. "Who are you?" Jack asked in a trembling voice, trying to gather his courage. The specter approached slowly, its hand reaching towards the four friends. "I am the guardian of this realm, the realm of lost spirits. You have trespassed our boundaries, and now you must pay the price," it replied ominously. Before they could respond, the ground began to tremble again, but with even greater force this time. The earth split open beneath their feet, like a giant mouth preparing to swallow them. The friends tried to grab onto anything, but the pull of gravity was stronger, and soon they found themselves plummeting into a bottomless abyss. They continued to fall for what felt like hours, though it was only a few minutes. Suddenly, the fall abruptly stopped, and they found themselves in a dark and cold room, its walls covered in blood and adorned with skulls in the corners. In the center of the room, there was an ancient altar, upon which lay a massive open book. "What is this place?" Emily whispered, looking around in fear. Lucas approached the book, attempting to read the mysterious texts written within. "It's a book of curses. It seems we have to read from it to find a way out," he said solemnly. Lucas began reading the texts aloud, but the words were incomprehensible and complex. Suddenly, the spirits reappeared, this time appearing more ferocious and enraged. They started attacking the friends, trying to prevent them from completing the reading. Suddenly, the room was filled with a bright light, causing the spirits to fade away one by one. But before they could vanish completely, the black specter reappeared, attempting to extinguish the light. "You will not escape so easily," the specter yelled in anger, trying to use its power to bring back the darkness. Emily, Jack, Simon, and Lucas joined together, reading the texts aloud in unison. The light intensified further, trapping the black specter and preventing it from approaching. With each word they pronounced, the darkness receded and the spirits faded away. Finally, the texts concluded, and the black specter vanished with a terrifying scream. The darkness disappeared completely, and the friends suddenly found themselves in the middle of the remote road again, next to their crashed car. The relieved friends breathed deeply, looking at each other in astonishment and joy. Was that real? Jack wondered aloud, his voice quiet, still unable to fully comprehend what had happened. "I think we barely made it," Lucas said, holding Emily's hand. "Let's go back home and leave this cursed road behind us forever." The friends struggled to get into the car, and Simon drove slowly away from the Road of Spirits. With each mile they traveled, the memories of horror slowly faded, yet they realized this adventure would remain etched in their memory forever. Midway through the journey, the car suddenly came to a stop as if an invisible force prevented them from progressing. Simon tried to start the engine again, but it wouldn't respond. The friends looked around anxiously, and the whispers started to return, this time louder and more urgent. "No, not again," Emily whispered, feeling a chill creeping into her bones. The ground began to shake once more, and before them appeared the woman in white again, this time with a sinister smile. "You thought you escaped. No one escapes from this place," the woman screamed ominously. The car began to shake violently, and blood-stained hands emerged from the ground, grabbing the car and pulling it towards them. The friends screamed, trying to escape, but the doors were tightly locked. Suddenly, the driver's door swung open, and Simon was irresistibly pulled outside. His screams faded into the cold air as he was dragged into the darkness. Emily, Jack, and Lucas tried to get out of the car, but the mysterious hands grabbed them one by one. Their screams filled the air, but there was no one to hear them. As the car was slowly pulled into the depths of the earth, the four friends disappeared one by one into the darkness, their screams gradually fading until absolute silence prevailed. Calm returned to the Road of Souls, as if nothing had happened. Only the wind echoed through the trees, carrying with it the whispers of the cursed spirits who would forever seek new victims.